Everybody in this world has a different opinion about all the change that is going on in today's society. Some people can jump on board with it, and some people can't. In this play, Mothers and Sons by Terrence McNally, it talks about one of the many challenges that we face in today's society, and that is gay rights. It also talks about how Catherine's age group of people cannot jump on board with all the different changes going on. Let's dive in and take a look at Catherine and Cal's conversation. That's the reservoir. See, people jog around it, even in this weather. Crazy people. I should know. I'm one of them. Christmas Day, hurricanes, monsoons. We're out there. Will thinks that we're all insane. He says he watches us through a telescope and laughs and laughs. I can see his point. From up here, we look like obsessive insects, just making our appointed rounds. Well, which that is all we do, is make our rounds. We're not going anywhere in the circle of fitness that others aren't. We all end up in the same place. Will would say that's a metaphor and why he laughs. Will's a writer. Are you sure I can't take your coat, Mrs. Gerard? I'm not staying. That's a pretty mesmerizing. That view is pretty mesmerizing. I still pinch myself at least twice a day. The greatest city in the world, and it's right there. I don't have to do anything but look. It's mine for the taking. Andre would have loved this view. As they say about London, the man who would grow tired of this is a man tired of life. Can I get you anything? I'm fine, thank you. Oh, this will amuse you. Interest you. Anyways. Directly across from the park from us, there's a legendary apartment house, 1040th 5th Ave. Just by the museum. See the obliques? That's Cleopatra's Needle. Well, not really, but it's what they call it. Just beside it is the Metropolitan Museum of Art, the Met, the other Met. To a West Sider, you are on the West Side. The Met means the Metropolitan Opera. To an East Sider, it means the Metropolitan Museum. If you don't know this, an out-of-towner can end up looking like a Rembrandt instead of a Turneron. Anyways, I'm getting all tangled up in the Manhattan area here. We have a very good view of the 1040th 5th Ave. That's where Jackie lived. Jackie O, Miss Kennedy? I know who you're talking about. Andre would have loved it for a view. He worshipped her. Didn't we all? Can't you see him waking up every morning and bounding to that window and just waving across to the park to her? It would have been a ritual. I thought that might amuse you. Very little amuses me, Mr. Porter. It was an unfortunate choice of word. I'm sorry. And please, it's Cal. Who lives there now? Oh, I don't know. Maybe some rich Republicans, I suspect, since Miss Kennedy died. I don't think anyone knows who cares who lives at 1040th 5th. I'm sure the people that live there do. How long have you had this place? Going on 9 years now. The last address I had from you was Perry Street. 85 Perry Street. That was a century ago. It was one room in the basement that had the building's only access to the furnace, which was always breaking down. We got quite friendly with the super that first winter. Things got better after Perry Street, but not much. We were young, poor, and ready to take on this city. We were ready for anything. Well, we thought we were ready for anything. You sure you won't take your coat off? I'm fine. I'll let you know when I'm not. I just stopped by on the chance you might be here. Somebody usually is, as I said. Will's a writer, and on weekends, we're both sort of homebodies. I got the address from your sister. Penny? You keep in touch? Not really. Christmas cards. She gave me your unlisted phone number as well. But if you went to the trouble of having an unlisted phone number, I'm sure it was avoid calls from people like me. No, never. I'm very glad to see you. Unlisted numbers are New York's fetish. Everyone has one. the woman who cleans for us, our doorman, the super. One night, Andre and I locked ourselves out of the house, and we couldn't call anyone who might have had a key. None of them had listed numbers. We were frozen by the time we got in. Growing up, I used to daydream about a view like this. Where was that? Rye? Rye, New York? It's a small town, more of an enclave, really, in Westchester. I know Rye, it's right next to Port Chester, which is definitely not an enclave. I even know Rye Brook. I dated someone from Rye Brook, and he never let me forget it. You know, Miss Kennedy and I know Rye. Are you sure I can't get you something in this weather? Something to warm you up? Before it gets too dark, where's the place we had the... You mean the memorial? Can you see it from here? See the little bridge? That's the Bow Bridge. And just to the right of it is a lovely small lawn area. Well, a lovely smallish lawn area 9 months out of the year. And this isn't one of them. It leads down to a duck pond. See it? I remember the ducks. They had a lot to say for themselves that day. You would have thought it was too cold to quack. It was 12 degrees, the coldest day it had been in years. I'd never been so cold. We all stood there in a circle and we spoke. I was the only one who didn't. I'm sure you weren't. It didn't matter. Your friends said everything that could possibly be said. They were very impressive. I didn't know Andre had so many friends and how cool they were. Some of them were quite funny. We were attracted to people with a sense of humor. I personally thought the story about the two of you swimming in a pool in Mexico was a little risky. At least for my taste it was. Blue humor and funerals are not something I'm accustomed to. It wasn't a funeral, Mr. Gerard. You know what I meant. The music, the church had such a serious and thoughtful tone, almost spiritual. I wasn't prepared for the transition to naked men in a swimming pool filled with people. It was pretty funny. I guess you had to be there. In this case, I'm glad you weren't there. I couldn't get the one piece of music out of my head I heard. The young woman sang at church. I even went to the record shop and tried to hum it to the clerk. Nada. He looked at me like I was insane. You should have asked. It was one of my favorite. It's by Mozart, a little known opera of his Pastorn, The Shepherd's King. I will be the last constant in my love. I will be constant in my love for him. I'll write it down for you. That same young woman is singing at the Met now, and quite successfully. Andre always predicted a big future for her. That he would always say, that cow is a star. If there is a perfect moment, that was one of them. Naturally, I was disappointed to see the rest of the service descend to jokes. It wasn't a service either, Mr. Gerard. It was a remembrance of someone we all loved and would miss. We still do. Except for the Mozart, maybe. Maybe it was a little too gay for my taste. There was some Shakespeare, too. I read, Fear no one more the heart o' the sun, but except for them and a little batch of my sister, my father, and our dentist, our jury was still out on him. It's common sense, then, gay as a goose. I guess it was pretty gay. I never understood the expression, gay as a goose. Neither did I. Is that? What? Where? It looks like some sort of amphitheater. It's called the Deckler Theater. Free Shakespeare in the park with the windows open in the summer we can hear them. Is that where Andre? Yes, where he played Horatio in the summer of 80. What? 8? 9?